Hello, welcome to Spirituality Simplified. I'm excited about today because we're going to be doing something a little bit different, something a little fun and kind of mix it up a little bit. With COVID going on and, staying home because it's cold out in a lot of, many parts of the country, you might be feeling a little cooped up, maybe a little stagnant. I know I definitely have. And I don't know about you, but this Mercury retrograde, which we're currently in right now, has been a doozy. I usually don't get affected too much, like I might notice something here and there, but for the most part, like I don't really worry too much about Mercury retrogrades. It kind of is what it is. But I will tell you, this one has been interesting. I have had some really weird things happen. And I feel like it's causing me to feel a little stagnant, just kind of like not able to move forward, which is pretty common with Mercury retrogrades. So I felt like today for this session, I wanted to do something a little bit different and maybe mix it up and maybe, get some more kind of liven the spirit up a little bit, so to speak. Um, and, it's funny, whenever I feel kind of blah, low energy, like just not inspired, my solution is to play. That is something that my guides, my true self, my soul have always communicated that if you're feeling this way, just go create, do something fun, liven up your energy a little bit, lift your vibration. And you can do this through play. And so yesterday, I immediately felt this need and this urge to go play with my charms set. So, a divination tool that some people use is casting charms. So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to go over this message that I received for you guys. So I casted these charms and asked, what do my podcast listeners and YouTube watchers need to know this week during these weird energies, right? So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm super excited. So you might be asking, what's reading charms? Like that sounds, maybe some of you have heard of it, maybe some of you haven't. But charms are kind of like they're another form of divination tool. So they're like oracle cards or tarot cards or your pendulum, in that it's an aid to help you receive the spiritual guidance and to help you get those messages and seek those answers that you're seeking. So, like when you're using an oracle card deck, you shuffle the cards and you ask a question of something that's on your mind, right? And you want to know the answer. Well, the same thing is with casting charms. You can cast these charms to help give you that message that your spirit guides and angels are trying to communicate to you. And it's really fun. And I will say that, you can get a charm set off of Etsy. That's where I got mine. You could probably find it on Amazon. I had to search charm casting set, I believe. It's kind of specific because you might get like charms for charm bracelets and stuff. So you might want to search like charms divination or something like that. But in my set, it came with this bag of charms, which is super fun. And then it came with a little white booklet, which is way over there. Okay. And it has some explanations as to what each of the charms means and represents. And it also came with these downloadable casting sheets. So you'll see in a moment, and for all of you listening out there, what you do is you throw charms. Like you can either use like a cloth or like a box, or you can put it like a piece of paper down on a table and then cast your charms to see where it lands. So with this particular set that I bought, there were these downloadable casting sheets that you could print, and they were based on different things such as career, relationships, love, family, whatever the topic was. So it's kind of like working with a pendulum too, right? So it's like where are the charms going to land? So that's really essentially what charms are about. Now, I think the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I feel like casting charms is one of those ways that you can tap into your true self and your intuition and work with your spiritual guidance, but in a really fun way. Like, this is a great way to tap into your inner child. I mean, I love charms. I had a charm bracelet when I was little, and I just love playing with charms. Like, this really, for me personally, just brings out that inner child in me. So whenever I feel kind of like, meh, I just bust out my charm set. I'm like, okay, what do I need to know today? Or whatever question I want to ask. And it's like solving a little puzzle and putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So it's super fun. That's why, and I've talked about this is the year of the inner child. That's what my whole, healing program is based on, is this philosophy that healing can be fun. And this is a great example. This is something that I do with my clients. You can do this for yourself, and it's a fun way to get that spiritual guidance that you're seeking. And, it's funny. We talk about charms being, bringing out the inner child. I mean, I know a lot of people still wear charm bracelets. I think there's that company, Pandora, that makes them. Um, I know that was a big thing for a while. So anyway, I just love them. I think they're super fun. Um, so so I'll tell you a little bit about these charms. So you have this bag, right? And I'll show you again all of these different charms. And we'll talk about these in a minute. But you just kind of shake it up, hold them in your hand, get your energy on there. And then you just let, a couple fall out, or however many you feel need to come out to give you the message, right? So it's really interesting with charms, where they land and which direction they're facing and which charms that they are next to is really important in deciphering the right message. So that's kind of fun. I'm actually going to be showing you guys a reading that I did for you. And so if you are listening, then I'm going to try to describe everything in detail, but this one might be one you want to go check out on the YouTube channel and see visually what the charms look like and what it looks like when you cast them and all that kind of stuff. So just FYI on that. But I actually have this beautiful cloth that I got in this chakra kit that I bought from this great metaphysical store in Dallas called Soultopia, and it has the chakras on there. So I personally love to use this. You can use any cloth you want. You can use just the table, but they might, just be careful when you're casting that they don't fly off the table and bounce around. But again, you can use those casting sheets as well, or you can do boxes. A lot of charm sets come in a box or like a tin box or something, and you can cast them in there so that it keeps it like in a container and they don't fly everywhere. But again, you can use whatever works for you, whatever you have in your house. I love this chakra cloth because it just adds another layer of information for me. Because I look at where the charms fall and see which chakras they correspond to. So that's just going to give me even more information that I need to know and kind of help me connect the dots a little bit more. But again, I just want to mention just plain cloth is fine too. Whatever you have is good. Okay, so let's talk about how do you read charms. And I'm going to make a big disclaimer here that I'm not an expert, but that just shows you that you don't have to be. Anybody can do this. You just have to play with it and, work with it. And I think the more you do it, the more, the easier it'll get, the quicker you'll be able to pick up the messages, just like any divination tool. I mean, if you look at tarot cards, there's so much symbolism and meaning behind each card that it could take some time to really study that. But the more that you work with it, the more those representations and symbolism that's going to come forward to you. It's going to become second nature. You're going to rely on your intuition. So it's the same with these charms. The more you work with them, if it's something that resonates with you, then the easier it's going to be, the quicker it's going to be. But again, you can, I'm just making that disclaimer. I'm not a charm reader per se, but this is one of the tools that I use for myself and I work with my clients as well as a fun way to tap into your true self and spiritual guidance. So when interpreting charms, it's kind of the same thing that you would do if you were going to use any other divination tool, like the tarot or oracle cards. So you want to, clear your space, maybe take a couple of deep breaths, kind of get centered and grounded, and connect with your true self or your spirit guides and angels. And then set your intention for what you wish to accomplish in this reading. And then you're going to, of course, as you shuffle or shake the charms up and kind of keep them in your hand and get your energy on it. And then you'll ask your question, what do you want to know? So, you can look at the meaning of the charm in the booklet that it comes with, or that, and, encourage you to use your own intuition to see what messages are coming to you. So when I do this reading for you guys today, I'm going to kind of do both. So I'm going to tell you what they mean, but then also the messages that came through to me from my guides to share with you. So you may receive a different message. Even if you're listening to this or watching this, you may be getting something different. Pay attention to that because that's the message you need to hear. There's probably multiple messages that come from this, but this is the one that came to me that my guides wanted me to share with you. And, it might resonate with several of you. Um, but again, just go with whatever comes to you. This is where your intuition is really important. With any divination tool that you use, it's just an aid. It's just a complement, something to help you. Ultimately, though, you want to decipher those messages and go inward to see what's the true meaning of this for me. Because with all of this stuff, there's so many different meanings. You have to decide what that means for you. Okay, so I'm actually going to point the camera down onto this the cloth that I have all the charms laid out. So I did this yesterday ahead of time, and I'm going to go through it and explain it with you today. So again, for the listeners, I will explain everything, but I will be pointing the camera down so you can actually see what I'm doing. Um, and again, you might want to go back and watch this on YouTube. Okay, so let's get started. So I have the camera pointing down onto this cloth, and you can probably hear the jingling of the charms. And what I did after I was asking my question, and then I just put some of these charms, which I'll show you here, just kind of in my hand, just kind of shake them up. And then to cast it, which I'll do over here, you just kind of let them go. You just let them fall, right? So, and see where they fall. Now, for this one, we're going to go through what actually came down and fell onto this beautiful chakra cloth. Okay. So I'm going to try to explain it as much as possible. So what I did when I was shaking them up, again, I asked, what do the podcast listeners and watchers need to hear this week? And this is what I got. It was kind of interesting too. As I was gathering up all the charms in one hand, one charm immediately fell out, and it was this heart charm right here. And the heart charm, I was like, oh, of course. That one came out. And this is what we call a jumper. So, like, if you're shuffling oracle cards and a card, jumps out, that's something that you need to really pay attention to. It's kind of an important message. Like, okay, you can still pick your card, but you still need to pay attention to this one that fell on the ground. So, this heart charm, which is really cute, it's just a little charm. It looks like a heart. This fell first as the jumper. Now, as I was doing it, it did land on the root chakra, which was interesting. So And we'll go into a lot more in detail in that. But another thing that was interesting is I found this tower charm, which I'm going to hold up for you guys to see. So that one also, I kind of found like halfway through. It was under my leg, and I was like, what is the tower? Oh, it means career. So that indicated to me it's another jumper, right? It's like, okay, this message is about career primarily. So this is going to be a career reading. So that was kind of interesting. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll start from the bottom in the root chakra and kind of work our way up the chakras and look at all the different charms and see what they mean. So if you look first, we have, so it's kind of interesting. We've got this camel charm that is facing actually down. So this was interesting too, that I just learned through my guides actually. Now, if you've ever done tarot cards or tarot readings, and if you listen to the last episode on tarot cards, I think I asked Francesco about reversals. Some readers read reversal cards. So sometimes when you put the card down, it's upside down. That's called a reversal. And some people are in the belief that there's two different meanings. So if you see a card upside down, you need to read it that way. It's usually just kind of the opposite meaning. And charms actually are the same way. So we have this camel that's upside down. So it's kind of like reading the reversed. So if you look at the book, and if we had, I have this little book that has some kind of basic explanations for each charm. And each of them has a positive and a negative, right? So the positive would be read if it was facing up. If it's facing down like this camel, you would read the negative, right? So the positive for camel is perseverance, endurance, resilience, which makes sense, right? It's pretty common sense. You think of a camel, I mean, they can hold water forever, right? They're super resilient. But for the reversed, that can indicate like a heavy burden, a long and difficult journey, or a bumpy ride. So it's actually facing down towards this female sign. It's like that circle with the cross, you know, it looks like it's the symbol for female. And that's also in the root chakra. Actually, you know, it's interesting. So the camel is kind of on the cusp. It's more like in the sacral chakra. But we have the heart charm is on the right side, and this female charm is on the left side. And what that feels like to me is just this. Now, the female charm that can indicate like you, if you're a female, and this is a reading for you. But I feel like it was very, since I'm doing this reading for a lot of people and wider audience, I felt like what that symbolized was our divine feminine. So we each have a divine feminine and a divine masculine. And this was kind of representative of that divine feminine side. And being in the root chakra, it seemed like that side of us is really rooted in strength and resilience, right? So the camel was the strength and resilience, and it was right above this female charm. So that's kind of the message that I got there. Now, next to the camel, we have a little mouse charm. So I'll hold that one up for everybody. It's kind of cute. And now that one is also facing down, which means that's more the reversed. And that's kind of on that cusp of the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra. So when a mouse is, you know, facing down, that can mean loss, feeling small, anxiety, stressing over the small things. So we kind of have that there, right? And then if we move over kind of diagonal from the heart charm, there's an eagle charm. And this one, it looks like the eagle's about to land on the heart, which I think was kind of cool. And That too, again, is kind of on that sacral root cusp. So the message I heard kind of from that was that in kind of this whole section, there's, strength and leadership, because this is what the eagle represents. Strength, leadership, knowledge, skills, all of that lies within our hearts. Our hearts are made of this great strength and power. And when we feel strong and powerful, we feel safe and secure to explore and create, which relates to the root chakra. So the root chakra is all about, safety, protection, feeling rooted, grounded. So when we feel strong and powerful, we feel safe and secure, and we're able to explore our creativity, which is where the sacral chakra, that's what that governs. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I think that's a good message to remember. So if we move up a little bit, we are now kind of more into the solar plexus chakra. And I'll tell you, most of these charms fell in the solar plexus and the heart area, which was interesting. There's some in the root and sacral, but the majority are in the solar plexus and the heart. So, this message is dealing a lot with, the heart and, feelings of confidence and self-worth and all of that. So right there, smack in the middle, we have a hot air balloon charm, which I will show on for the YouTubers. Okay. Now, this one is on its side. So that's kind of where you have to use your intuition and be like, okay, is that supposed to be like the positive or the negative reading? I don't like the word negative, but um, we'll just say reversals, upright or the reversal. But the balloon charm represents celebrations, promotions, travel, relaxation, release of tension. And then next to it, we have this ship. Looks like a little sailboat. And that too is on its side. And it's like the hot air balloon and the ship are facing each other. So that was kind of interesting to me. And the ship represents slow moving, could also represent a business you own. And again, that one I had to kind of go with I asked my guides, does this need to be, upright or reversal? So this one was the reversal meaning. And then we have this little pair of feet, which is kind of cute. They look like little footprints. That charm. And that looks like it's like walking towards the ship. And feet represent like a journey or walking a path, right? So that's all in the solar plexus. Now I'm going to go through the heart ones too, and I'll tie this all together at the end, I promise. I just want to go through these charms with you and tell you what they represent. Maybe you're already getting some messages for yourself and seeing what's coming in for you. So if we're at the heart chakra, you see a dancer right here, and she's like a little ballet dancer. She's kind of on her side too, like her feet are pointing towards the middle of the heart chakra and kind of pointing towards that cluster of the balloon, ship, and feet. It's actually kind of like that. Now, the dancer represents happiness and joy, celebration. But then we've got this cane that is definitely clearly upside down, and it's pointing towards the dancer. So that indicates heaviness or a burden. And then we have a lion. I like the lion charm. That's really fun. Yeah, that's cool. So then we have the lion, and that's actually pointing down to the dancer as well. So this is representing strength and courage. And then on the opposite side, we have these scales. Like you would see like that symbol for like law, like the two scales. So, usually represents balance. Um, and that's pointing towards the lion. And so that can be balance. Sometimes it represents like documents or contracts. And then we have a tree that is pointing the root or the trunk is pointing towards the scales. Here's the tree. And that indicates feeling stuck, right? So then if we keep going to the left, you see an angel charm and a mushroom charm right next to each other. So we've got this cute little angel, and then you've got a little mushroom. The mushroom's kind of cute, actually. They're all cute. This is why I love charms. They're so fun. Telling you, man, it just really gets you into your inner child. It's awesome. Okay, so the angel represents protection and divine guidance, and the mushroom represents growth, resilience, and cleansing. So we have that on the left, right? But then this is all within the heart chakra. But if you go all the way to the right, there's kind of this outlier that's on the very edge of this chakra, which is looks like a sacred geometry circle, and it has all the chakras going down the middle. So on the edge of this circle is this peacock charm. And so that one, the peacock represents your ego. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And that happens to fall on your heart chakra, which I think is interesting too. And again, we're going to go through this, but just want to go through these with you. So then if we move up to the throat chakra, we see a little kitty cat charm. And then you see an upside down house charm. And it's kind of pointing towards each other a little bit. But the cat's kind of pointing towards the house. And what that represents is comfort, contentment, possibly a female friend. And then the house represents, now it's pointing down, so we're going to read that as a reversal. So that represents feeling trapped, confined space, closed off. I kind of got a chuckle when I saw that. I was like, well, of course, we're all like in quarantine and feeling combined or, like trapped and confined. And so that makes sense. I mean, there's a different meaning that ultimately, when I look at this all together, what that means, but it doesn't, it was interesting that that was next to the cat too, because if you just read those two charms, you could say, well, I'm finding comfort in being isolated right now, which, you know what? There's a little bit of comfort in that too. It's kind of a nice quiet time. It's a nice time to just be by yourself and really do some reflection and maybe do some of these fun readings for yourself, you know? So again, that's what's really interesting. That's where I think the position of the charm, which, direction it's pointing, which charms it's next to, it really helps you to get that full big picture for this reading. So, okay, so we've gone through all the charms, right? And you can do as many or as little as you want. If you want to just pick 3 charms, you can actually, you don't even have to like you can just like pick them out of the bag. You can just shuffle, like put your fingers into the bag and just kind of feel around and see, oh, okay, and just pick them out that way. You don't have to cast them or like throw them down. So you may just want to do a couple of charms and just say, like, do a real quick one, or you can do a more detailed one like this. But what I like to do at this point is like, okay, so now I know what all the charms mean. I'm jotting down what they might, what messages and meanings are coming to me for my intuition and my guides. And then now I want to see the full picture. Like, what does this whole reading represent? What do you guys, what are my guides trying to communicate to all of you today and for this week? So one thing I want to know, let's go back to let's start with the chakras. I'd like to see where these charms are located and which chakra. I think that just adds another layer of information on what this is trying to say. So again, I mentioned before, there's mostly charms around the heart and solar plexus chakras, with a couple in the root and sacral chakras as well, which indicates to me that something is weighing you down and causing you to have a heavy heart. So remember the jumper, the heart charm, which was getting our attention at the very beginning. And that is the one that's super important, right? So I feel like this whole reading is really focused on the heart. Like, not only are there the most charms in the heart chakra, but we also had the heart charm fall out as the jumper. So, I feel like there's something that's weighing you down and causing this heavy heart. You feel like you feel like you're getting stuck, or you're having issues with confidence or self-worth. And as a result, it's causing you anxiety and kind of that lack of energy, lack of joy, things like that. So just even reading, looking at it, and just looking at the chakras alone, that's a message that I get. Here's the overall message that I got after looking at this and working with my guides. So some of you may be starting a new journey that may seem like it's getting off to a slow start, or maybe it seems like it's just hard to lift off the ground. Or maybe you have launched, but you can't seem to stay afloat. This may be leading to deflating self-confidence and self-worth, which is a heavy load to carry and is weighing you down, keeping you thinking small and preventing you from flying. But to experience true happiness, you must have a light and open heart. The angel and mushroom were holding hands on opposite sides of the peacock. It feels like there's a struggle between following your divine guidance from spirit and your true self versus listening to your ego mind. You feel stuck, like you don't know which next step to take on your journey, or which direction to follow, or where to go to for guidance. The angel and mushroom are closer into the center of the heart chakra, whereas the peacock is out on the edge, indicating to me that going inward into your heart and not listening to your ego or going outward or externally to others is where you are going to experience true growth and resilience, which will help you get unstuck. I also feel like this disconnection with the heart is causing you to not express yourself fully. I feel like there's this person inside of you that is just yearning to come out and play, but is being confined and trapped. But tapping into your inner strength and courage to open up and show the world who you truly are is going to bring you the clarity and comfort and confidence that you seek. That is when your true vision and path and next steps will become clear. So that's kind of how I put it all together. So the moral of the story is, if you're feeling stuck or paralyzed or lost, then it's so important to go inward into your heart to find the answer and the clarity that you need. So this reading may resonate, with many of you. With this ascension of our new earth, more and more of you will be awakening to your truth and your soul gifts and your mission. And, this may be a confusing time for you. Your beliefs may be changing, your relationships may be changing, your interests and desires may be changing. This may lead you on a quest to find what truly brings you fulfillment and happiness. So this may really just resonate with a lot of people. Now, this may not resonate as much with you directly, but I do feel like this overall message can be applied to everyone. It's so important to pay attention to our own hearts and wants and desires to make decisions. No one else can make the decision for you. Only you know what is right for you. If you find yourself struggling right now, try and take this week to do some self-reflection and some meditation. Really connect to your true self and heart. and spend some time loving on yourself. Remind yourself how amazing you are and how far you've come on your journey. I think we tend to forget that when we're stuck in the mud, right? We get kind of stuck. All we can see is what's going wrong in that moment instead of remembering the big picture and the entire journey. Like this whole casting, this is a journey. Like this is the big picture when you look at these charms on this cloth. I mean, that's kind of looking, stepping back, right? And being that neutral observer into your own life. And then really seeing how far you've come because you have. We've done so much. And I think it's so easy to let our egos come in and tell us we're not enough and you're not doing enough. And, it's, you should be doing more. And, comparing yourself to other people and all that stuff, right? Um, so I think it's important to really kind of step back and recognize how far you have come. And there's going to be, bumps in the road and challenges you come across, but don't forget to tap into the resilience and strength and courage that you hold within your own heart and inner light, just like this message is coming through in this charm casting today. I mean, we all have that. Sometimes we just need to consciously tap into that or ask our spirit guides and angels for a little help to help us remember that we have that inside of ourselves. And Archangel Shamuel, Chamuel, would be great to call upon if you're struggling right now. If this message resonates with you, maybe ask Archangel Shamuel for some help. Shamuel helps us to find inner peace and love within our own hearts by helping us to see inside of our true selves, to find our own divine strength and courage and self-love. So he really, helps us connect with our true self and to see our heart and who we truly are through the eyes of the divine. Or maybe you need a little heart healing right now just to lift your spirits and kind of get you back on track. In this case, Archangel Raphael might be a great angel to connect with. Archangel Raphael is the angel of healing, and he can help you kind of heal your heart and get you back on track and seeing who you are and seeing your worth and to stop thinking small and to help you think big and be like, yes, I can do this. Look how far I've come. I can keep going. I've got so much left to do. Amazing things to do. Feel free to listen back to the Archangels episode to learn more about these beautiful beings of light, to get guidance. That there's an Archangels episode specifically that talks about all the Archangels and what you can call upon them for. They are here to help us and guide us. So all you have to do is ask. So definitely check that out. That resonates. Or you can just go and ask your own spirit guides and angels to just fill your heart with divine love and give you the guidance and support you need at this time. This reading, I think, is a general reading that can apply to a lot of people, of what they're going through right now. But everybody is going through their own personal experience that only you and your guides know about. So, it's really important to always go inward and talk to your soul, talk to your higher self, talk to your guides, ask like, what's going on? What do I need to know? What do I need to do to live the life that I love, right? So I think this was just a really nice reminder to go inward and connect with your soul. And again, winter with COVID is a really great excuse to just spend some time with yourself and reflect on who you truly are and what you want out of life and which direction you're being pulled in right now. You can do this through meditation, journaling, reading, painting, drawing, scribbling, or just creating anything. The goal is just to help set your ego aside and do something that you enjoy and just let yourself feel and receive the messages that you are supposed to hear. So, whatever helps you to, set your ego aside to allow those messages from your inner light to come through is perfect. Just remember that. And there's a huge plane that's going by right now. You can probably hear it. I feel like that is a message, like this is super important. Like this needs to be heard, and this point in particular is something to pay attention to. It's like the heart jumper, right? The heart charm. So again, I'll repeat that. So it's really, I think it's a good time to go inward, and be a little selfish. And I don't want to use the word selfish because I don't think anything's selfish, but it's so important to really focus on you right now. And with COVID and winter, you have the time and the space to do that. And then let's face it, we talked about Mercury retrograde before, kind of slowing everything down. Well, there you go. There's another thing on top of it. So, another great way in time, an excuse to really focus on you and figure out what you want and what your heart wants. That's the most important thing, right? So I hope that this provided you with some inspiration to help kind of get you out of that rut, that you may be stuck in, and serves as a reminder of the importance to really follow your heart and the divine guidance of your soul. So remember the angel charm. It's all about the divine guidance, and it was on the opposite side of the peacock, which is your ego. And there's like that struggle. Like I feel like that the scales and the lion, we got the scales here, and we have the lion charm. They were in the middle, and it was kind of like I felt like there was this struggle, like you know, kind of between like the ego and your true self. Like who do I listen to, right? I keep getting messages from both, and the ego is pretty strong. It's tough. It wants to take over. So um, I hope that this kind of helps you and is the right message that you needed to hear at this very moment. Because your soul and your true self, they always know what is best for you. Just remember that. Like your ego is there for a purpose, but your soul and your higher self, that is who knows what is best for you and that next step for you to take. Um, that's who you always need to trust and rely on, because that's your true self, your soul knows exactly what you need to do and knows your gifts and who you are and what your next steps are. So anyway, so I hope I hope this was fun today. It was a little bit different. I just want to show you that healing and spiritual guidance doesn't have to be so heavy, that it can be fun. And even though some of the messages were a little bit heavier today, right? We had the heart charm. Like there was kind of that feeling of having a heavy heart. But I think that, not only were we able to get the answers and guidance and support that you need to find that relief and that comfort and saying, oh, okay, this is what's going on. Yes, I've been feeling this way. You know what? I haven't been connecting with my light recently. This is what's causing me to feel so like down in the dumps, right? So I think just getting that message provides that relief and clearing and comfort, which is healing in and of itself. Um, and it clears those blockages, right? Like just coming to that awareness is really, it's releasing, right? And it's releasing those blockages that have been holding you back and weighing you down and making you feel heavy and like you can't move and like you're stuck, right? But we're able to do this in kind of a fun, lighthearted, interactive, and uplifting way. I mean, the charms are super fun to play with, right? And you get to be a little kid again. You can have that excuse to just play. But you're getting guidance at the same time. So it's a win-win. And I think charms are super fun. I mean, it's like putting a puzzle together or like finding the clues to solve a mystery, because got all these charms, trying to figure out like what each means individually, and then looking at the whole picture. How does it all fit together? What does it mean for me? I just think that's really cool. Um, So this might be a way that resonates with you. Maybe if this sounds fun, go out and try to get a charm set, and see, how it goes. And I think too, it's all about how you approach your meditation, right? It's all about like, okay, let's approach this as, like I said, kind of like a puzzle or like a game. Like, okay, what exciting truth and revelations are we going to find behind mystery door number one today, right? Like kind of going in it with that like adventurous, exploring spirit, just kind of open-minded, open-hearted. Let me see what comes through, and then I'll take it from there, right? So, that's kind of the gist of today. And I think I mentioned it earlier, but this is the what all of my healing programs are based on. Like, this is the philosophy that I live and breathe by, is that healing can be fun. I implement this in my own healing, and I work with clients and help them tap into their inner child and to have fun and to get their own intuitive guidance, and be hands-on and playful about it. So if you or someone you know is struggling with finding your purpose or finding clarity, you're trying to figure out, like, what do I do? If you're feeling stuck, right? Then reach out to me. You can go to my website too, and take a look around at my healing programs that are available. And you'll notice that that is my approach to everything, is healing through play. So if that resonates, and set up a call, and we can do a free consultation. I can tell you about my programs and see, what works best for you. Maybe we set up, create a customized program. Each person's different, so I want to work with each person individually and give you whatever you need. So definitely check that out. Again, my website is soulhealingwithally.com. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for the mailing list. And there's a blue box on the website, and it just asks for your name and email. And when you do, you get a free meditation that you'll get, and automatically sent to your email. And then you also get enrolled in my monthly Soul in One digest. And February's issue just went out, and it was so cool. I had so much fun writing it. I felt so much love. The meditation is awesome. There's exercises to practice your own intuition and tapping into that. There's so many great little nuggets in there. So definitely you'll want to sign up for that. Um, and just wanted to remind you too of my new LinkedIn group. And it's probably been a couple of weeks. It's not totally new, but I just wanted to remind you, it's called Your Soul at Work. And it's a safe and sacred space for you to kind of escape from work. Like if you're sitting at the desk and you've just been, in this 3D ego mind all day. Come into your soul at work. Check out what's going on. I have posts in there every day. I do meditations, sound healings, inspirational posts, all sorts of really fun stuff. So it's a chance for you to kind of take a break from the daily grind and to connect back in with your inner light and your spirit and your true self. Because I know at work it's really hard. Sometimes we tend to be different people. We tend to put on a different persona, and that's exhausting. When you can't be your true, authentic self, that can get exhausting. So come into this group and kind of get a recharge and boost your spirits and lift yourself up. So definitely check that out. And of course, don't forget the Spirituality Simplified Facebook group. I created this as this place for all of us to come together and ask questions and suggest podcast topics. I host the live Q&A sessions every week in there. And it's another place that you can just get some daily inspiration. So I'd love to see you there. And again, I'll have all of the links to everything in the description for this episode. And speaking of live Q&A, so yesterday we did the live Q&A session with Jennifer Smith, who was on last week talking about mediumship. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. She answered a ton of questions. We had, which doesn't surprise me. This is a big topic that I think a lot of people are interested in and curious about. And she covered everything. Like there were no questions that were too weird or people just asked whatever, and it was super fun. We talked about ghosts and the afterlife and what kind of questions you ask in a mediumship reading, and she shared some stories that were really enlightening and uplifting. So you'll definitely want to check that out. If you didn't make it live, you can check out the replay that's on the Spirituality Simplified YouTube channel, and also of course in the Facebook group as well. Oh, and she gave away a prize at the end, which was pretty cool. So anybody who was on live could be entered into win a prize. And so that was really fun. And these live sessions are held every Wednesday at 12 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And they're streamed live through the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. So, definitely check it out. But again, if you can't make it live, you can always watch the replay, and you can always send me questions ahead of time to ask myself or my guest who happens to be on the show. And so next Wednesday, we're going to be talking more about charm casting. So I can answer any questions you have, and I'd love to do some readings for people. So I'll bring out some of the sheets. And if you're interested in getting a reading, definitely show up for the live session. Okay, so I think that's it for now. Again, all the links that I mentioned to all the groups and my website and everything will be included in the episode description. And of course, please feel free to reach out to me anytime if you have questions, or let me know if you have any show topic suggestions or would love to recommend a guest. I would love it. I've got a great lineup of guests already, and I'd love to hear some more. So feel free to share with me. So thank you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week and weekend. And remember to keep it spiritual, but keep it simple. Thanks, guys. See you next time.